What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the TokenMinorities, bringing you the battle for Week 1 of Season 2 of the APA Little Cup League, and this week we are up against Blin and his Canberra Cradilys. And before I get into the team, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. Wow, starting the season off great, as it helps us out a lot and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. But anyway, on to the team. Like I said, we are up against Blin, and I encourage you to check out his channel. It will be linked in the description below. And his team consists of, unfortunately, weather. Like double weather with sun and Meowth, and it's just all kinds of scary. His full team is Vulpix, Meowth, Hippo, Patas, Lileep, Stuffle, Spearow, Shellos, Mime Jr., Poochyena, and Bellsprout. So yeah, just kind of absurdly powerful. Well, I mean, it's not like absurdly powerful, but I mean, Meowth plus Sun. That's really all you need. And then he has some insane bulk in Hippo, Patas, and Lileep, which actually cover each other really, really well. I mean, apart from the grass weakness, but he still has Vulpix for that and Sun. So yeah, this is going to be a doozy of a matchup. That being said, I do think I actually have a pretty beneficial matchup, all things considered, despite his insane offense, because I do have webs, I have anti-weather in my Amora, as you can see I'm bringing that, and I also have a pretty darn good Meowth answer in my tier 4, so yeah, the first mon that I'm bringing is going to be a Swords Dance Pawniard with Dual Stab, Iron Head, Knockoff, Sucker Punch, and Swords Dance, I mean, with Inner Focus, actually, because under Sticky Web, I will be faster than Meowth, and his way of revenging me, if I'm able to get up to +2, is to potentially fake me out into feint range. Like, if somehow he was able to get enough damage to where, like, a couple fake outs would be able to take out my Pawniard, well, Inner Focus completely destroys that, and also I'm not really going to be benefiting from... I'm not going to be benefiting from, like, any Intimidate or Defog potentially from Spearow anyway, so there's overall not a whole lot of point in running Defog. I definitely could, but I think in this matchup, Inner Focus is just a little bit better because of the sweeping power of Pawniard potentially being put to a stop by his Meowth. So the speed is enough for Stuffle just to outspeed that thing just regularly while having a ton of attack power with Adamant max attack, and then just maxed out my bulk however possible. Next up is going to be my Sticky Web lead, well, lead of sorts, in my Surskit with Focus Sash, Sticky Web, Signal Beam, Hydro Pump, and Protect. Protect is to deter fake out into feint or just fake out into double any attack at all, killing me. So yeah, but the thing is, if he does have Meowth, I'm probably not going to lead with my Surskit, because unfortunately, due to feint, it sets up a 50-50, and if you guys know one thing about me, it's that I don't like having to make plays. If I don't have to make plays, then all the better. So I'm going to do everything I can to not have to make plays. So if he does have Meowth, then I'm actually going to end up leading with my Bonsly, but I'll end up getting to that later. But either way, if he doesn't have Meowth, or if he just leads anything else, then I can just immediately switch into my Surskit to get up the Sticky Web, as it does neuter his team incredibly, especially his Bellsprout. As even under Sun, if Sticky Web is up, my Scarf Amora will be able to outspeed that, but I mean, that's kind of a moot point, as Amora is more than likely going to be setting up the weather. But if I ever come into a situation where Sticky Web's up, I kill the Vulpix with my Amora, and Bellsprout is able to come in under Sun and on Sticky Web with the Sun up, Amora should be able to still outspeed it, unless it is running a Timid nature. So Surskit, basically, Sticky Web pressures the team hard, Dual Stab just hits stuff decently. I mean, I'm not expecting Surskit to do a whole lot. It just has some, yeah, Sticky Web, and then potentially just chipping something down. That's really all I'm relying on it for. Next up is going to be my Amora with the Choice Scarf, Blizzard, Ice Beam, Ancient Power, and Thunderbolt. Literally the only Ice Resist on his team is his Shellos, and I have and Vulpix, but Vulpix is weak to rocks. I can easily get up rocks against him. And also, I mean, you know, the hits that I'm able to get off on Vulpix will chip it down as well, and Shellos, I have a great answer to that in my Natu. So his two Ice Resists, I'm not overly concerned about them switching into Amora. So this thing, great for shutting down Sun, but also Ice against his team is really, really powerful. Ancient Power is the coverage move along with Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, obviously, for the Shellos, and Ancient Power is if I want to take out Vulpix from a higher amount of health because obviously Blizzard and Ice Beam are resisted, and Ancient Power, if he's not running Eviolite and minimal bulk, I still have a very good chance. I think I'm guaranteed to even take out a pretty bulky non-Eviolite Vulpix after rocks with Ancient Power. So that's really what I'm going for with my Amora. The speed is just for the aforementioned Bellsprout. And next up is going to be a Calm, a especially defensive Natu with Roost, Psychic, U-Turn, and Toxic. He has no Psychic resists on his team, and the ones that he does, well, not the ones that he does have, the mons that he has that can potentially take hits, special hits like Hippopotas, Lileep, and Shellos, all get neutered really hard by Toxic. Also, he has a Mime Jr. that I completely overlooked, but Mime Jr. is really taken advantage of hard by my team, so I'm not too worried about it, all things considered. And also Mime Jr. is also something that I can just Toxic and wear down with my Natu because I am Spidef. So yeah, Natu is actually looking really, really good. This is a decent like switch in to Stuffle. I mean, offensive Stuffle is still rough for me, but if I have Sticky Web up, I will be able to outspeed and Psychic that thing. Bellsprout, I can potentially take a hit depending on what coverage moves it has. Meowth, no. Vulpix, maybe one. Like, Natu is just kind of a good pivot, and particularly taking out Shellos, which will be key for Amora sweeping later. Just a nice Spidef spread with trying to maximize my EVs as much as I can. Second to last is going to be my rocker in a very annoying Bonsly with Endure, Stealth Rock, Thief, and Brick Break. This is my Meowth check, or not, well, I guess kind of counter, but I mean, this is basically like, this thing can beat Meowth 1v1, like a Life Orb Meowth, unless it's significantly invested in special attack. This Bonsly can take a Fake Out into a Technician, Life Orb, HP Fighting, or Water Pulse, or whatever, get my Berry Juice, get up back to near full. I won't get quite back up to full because of my 23 HP as opposed to 21, but I mean, that's a point for later. I mean, it's important for the calcs in a 1v1 against Meowth, as if he has Meowth and leads off with it, well, it's going to be Bonsly versus Meowth, and I do need that situation for Bonsly. But either way, Bonsly, very, very good. Endure, Stealth Rock, Thief, and Brick Break. Thief is nice for getting rid of Eviolites, and once my Berry Juice is popped, I can potentially Thief away an Eviolite from, like, Hippopotas, Lileep, Stuffle, just whatever he happens to go into. I can Thief away their item. Brick Break is for the Meowth, as that's mainly what this Bonsly is for. And then the speed, just wanted to creep, like, Min Speed, Lileep, Min Speed, Stuffle, like, stuff like that he just didn't put any speed into. And, yeah, that's the spread on Bonsly. And finally, we have a Nasty Plot 5DMZ Krogunk with Focus Blast, Sledge Bomb, Nasty Plot, and Vacuum Wave, apart from Bellsprout and Mime Jr. If I click my Z, fighting something just dies, and he's not going to be switching in Bellsprout hard on Krogunk because, I mean, Sledge Bomb will still hit really, really hard. And Mime Jr., while it might quad resist Focus Blast, it is weak to Sludge Bomb, and if I have Sticky Web up like I plan, that's not too much of a problem. We went for Anticipation over Dry Skin because 1, Sun, and 2, it lets me scout out any potential HP Psychics that he might have, and then just a nice, modest spread for maximum damage. So, yeah, that's a team, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop right on over to the battle. Alrighty, here we are in the battle, and the first thing I'm noticing is that there is no Hippopotas or Lily, both of which I was kind of counting on, but both of which are kind of, they're relief of sorts, but Lileep was something that I was hoping to set up on with Pawniard and Krogunk, and Hippopotas was just kind of like easy recovery with Natu / something that Surskit could come in on, Amora could threaten out, etc., etc., and he did bring the Spearow, so I was really kind of sad that he brought the Spearow, because I was like, ah, crap, he actually, like, if he brought the Spearow in this matchup, it 1,000,000,000% has defog. Spearow has such an awful matchup overall that if he didn't have defog on it, there'd be no reason to bring it. So unfortunately, he does have defog, or at least I'm assuming he does. If not, I mean, he's gonna have defog. Like, let's just be real. He's gonna have defog. But he did bring the Sun Core, to be expected. He also brought the Stuffle, which is a very good stop to my Pawniard, in addition to the Shellos. So yeah, Shellos stops Amora, and Stuffle stops my Pawniard. However, I am noticing that if I can get Shellos toxic and worn down, then Amora can do a ton of work, but also Natu has an amazing time against his team. He does not have a single Psychic resist, and Shellos I can toxic and recover, or roost up on instead of, well, I can just kind of stay in against it. It doesn't really threaten me. I can Toxic it, Roost Up, Psychic it down, all that good stuff. So yeah, because he has the Meowth, I am going to lead off with my Bonsly, as that is exactly what I kind of plan to do, and I'm immediately going to go for the Brick Break, as if he goes for the knockoff, I should be able to knock him out, but he does go for the Fake Out, does a decent chunk, and even from this range, I should be able to live like a Water Pulse, HP Fighting, HP Ground, whatever he wants to go for. And I do just go for the Brick Break as he goes straight into the Stuffle. And I don't want my Bonsly to get knocked out immediately. Like, I mean, there's no reason to stay in against Stuffle unless I want to get my rocks up, but even then, Stuffle is probably a little bit faster. And I still have my Natu, which should be able to take hits relatively well and threaten the Stuffle out with the Psychic. As he goes for the return, that does not reveal to be a 2-hit KO, so I am free to just fire off a Psychic, and even though I'm just attacking what's in front of me right now instead of making any predictions, that's all I need to do early on. Like, Stuffle revealed to be very defensive based on the Brick Break damage, and revealed to be min, if not 0 attack based on the damage it did to Natu. So I'm not overly worried about Natu staying in on Stuffle, even if it does have like brutal swing or something like that, but even then return would still do more. So I'm just going to fire off the Psychic, as whatever he went into, I would still be fine. He goes into Shellos, completely okay with me. I'm just going to immediately get that Toxic off to start wearing that thing down, so Natu can just feel free to spam Psychic against his team to my heart's content, really. But now that the Shellos is Toxic, I am going to Roost Up, as I have zero reason not to, as I have zero reason not to with my not to. Ha, that's funny. I'm funny. Sorry. No, that's bad. But yeah, I just wanted to Roost Up. Shellos, I mean, yeah, could stay in and Scald, but then it is getting Toxic worn down on it. I am a Spadef Natu. I can take whatever hit as he goes into his Vulpix, and I don't want my Natu to take a hit any earlier than it has to, so I am going to switch out and go straight into my Bonsly, as I knew that I could take the Flamethrower, or really just I knew that he wasn't going to go for the Energy Ball at that point if he had it. So I go into my Bonsly, I can take either the Flamethrower or the Fire Blast. He goes for the Flamethrower, knocks me into Berry Juice range, and now that I am at full HP, even if he does have Energy Ball, I will be able to take it and get my rocks up, so that's exactly what I'm going to go for at this point. Get my rocks up, and with my Berry Juice gone and him going into Stuffle, I'm thinking that he's going to predict me to switch out once again. I mean, that's something that he already did. He already predicted my switch out into Natu, so I'm thinking with my Natu at full health, I have zero reason to not just go straight into it, as I won't even be 2-hit KO'd, and we can just do the whole rinse repeat. But instead of that, I'm going to predict that he's going to go for the return, and I'm actually going to go for the Thief to get rid of this Stuffle's Eviolite, as then that makes it much easier for my Natu. I mean, like, from this range, with his Eviolite gone, Natu's Psychic is a guaranteed Oko from this range, and Amora's Blizzard is able to 2-hit or Oko it from this range as well. So basically, it just turned what would have been potentially annoying 2-hit KOs into Okos. As he does return, I'm able to take that Eviolite from him, and now Bonsly is honestly putting in a ton of work, just being able to switch into Vulpix the first time, get up rocks, get rid of Stuffle's Eviolite, and yeah, we're in a very, very good position. So now, with the Eviolite stolen, I'm just going to pull the switch into Natu. I have my rocks up, Stuffle's Eviolite is gone, he's going to go straight for the return. Once again, not a 2-hit KO, and I am going to fire off the Psychic, as the only thing that he has that can switch in on it is Shellos. Well, Shellos has to come in on rocks and Toxic and Psychic, and Shellos, like I said before, is just a free roost with my Natu. So I'm going to just keep rinse repeating as he does end up going for the recover as I go for the roost. But the thing is, he has Toxic, I do not. I can just feel free to start, I can just switch out. Sorry, what I was trying to say. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Natu is back at full health. Against his team, if I'm able to get the Sticky Web up and also prevent not Skarmory, Spearow, from being able to defog, it's kind of just GG. So I really, really want to put the pressure on with Sticky Web at this point, and considering Natu is at full health, I have zero reason to just potentially let it take a burn while I can take this opportunity to go into my Surskit. I resist whatever Shellos wants to go for, and I can immediately get my Sticky Web up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. U-turn into my Surskit on the Scald. It does 9%, and he does get the burn. I mean, that's unfortunate, but it's not like the end of the world. I will be able to get up my Sticky Web against this Shellos, and I should be in a decent position, as he will go into his Vulpix, take rocks, get the get the Sun up. Oh, and also Vulpix is Heat Rock. That was confirmed by the 8 turns of Sun, and I am just able to get the Sticky Web up. And unfortunately, I have nothing that can switch in to Vulpix without getting to it KO'd, so I am just going to let Amora eat this hit for now. I could have sacked my Surskit, and had he not had the Spearow, I definitely would have, but considering he has the Spearow, and I want the ability to get up Sticky Web potentially later once I'm able to knock that out, because he's going to have to sack his Spearow in order to get the defog off, because nothing on my team lets Spearow defog for free. Like, yeah, everything's going to knock it out if it's able to outspeed and defog against it. So I'm just going to go into my Amora, let it take the hit from Vulpix, as nothing Vulpix goes for short of HP fighting will be able to knock me out at this range, and I don't think against a Surskit you necessarily would, when even though it's in the Sun and Surskit is pretty weak, Hydro Pump would still do a really good chunk to Vulpix, and considering it's Heat Rock, that means it doesn't have any recovery. So yeah, he's going to try to want to take advantage of his turns as best he can. So I'm going to pull the switch into my Amora. I will be 2-hit KO'd by the Flamethrower, but at this point I have my Amora in, Hail is up, Sun is gone, and I can just really feel free to take advantage of the situation however I want. And in this situation, I just go for the Ancient Power. I wanted to see the damage potentially on Shellos. I mean, that was the only move that I had that would be able to KO Vulpix from that range anyway, so just firing off an Ancient Power was pretty free, as if Stuffle came in, well, I can just always go back into my Natu once again, do that whole thing, and he does not like switching into Psychic, like I said, especially with Shellos with rocks up. Like, Psychic plus Hail plus Toxic will be able to wear that thing down very, very quickly. So I do go for the Ancient Power. It does a solid 22% to the Shellos, and unfortunately, even after Stealth Rock, or even after Toxic and Hail, Shellos will not be in range, so I'm just going to go straight back into my Natu, as even though I know he's probably going to recover, there's no use risking my Amora at that point to Shellos, just like potentially him staying in, going for like a Scald or something and knocking me out. So yeah, Natu is going to come in, just going to go straight for the Psychic. He goes for the Scald, and honestly, like, it's just kind of a good situation for me all over. I'm just going to Psychic, try to wear this thing down, because as soon as Shellos is gone, whenever Amora is in, I click Blizzard, and I get my kill. Like, no two ways about it. If Amora is in, I will be able to click Blizzard, and I will be able to kill something, as he does finally let the Shellos go down to the Toxic from Natu, but unfortunately Natu is very low at this point, as he does bring in the Spearow, and like I said, Spearow, first of all, has to be a Violite in order to survive a Psychic, or it has to be like very defensive in order to survive a Psychic from my Natu. However, he's already revealed his 2 Eviolites for the game in Stuffle and Shellos. The damage that I was doing to Shellos would not be possible without Eviolite. So yeah, I know Spearow is not a Violite. If he wants to knock me out, well, that actually is amazing for me, as Amora comes in, I click Ice Beam, I claim my KO, and I'm just in an amazing spot. But if he doesn't, well, then Spearow's gone, and I am up 4 against 6 with admittedly some damaged mons, but I still have my rocks and my Sticky Web that I can potentially get up later. So I'm going to stay in, as he does end up defogging. I'm able to bounce that back skillfully with my Magic Bounce, and this means Psychic will 100% hit, and we are able to knock out the Spearow. So yeah, 2 mons down for him. Amora is looking amazing, but unfortunately, without the rocks up, Vulpix is able to come in and just not... Vulpix comes in, does not have to take rocks. It is not going to have reduced speed. Vulpix is a huge, huge threat, and I don't have anything that can switch in anymore, so unfortunately, even though I could potentially use it for Stuffle later, Natu did its job of weakening his team to the point, like, getting rid of Shellos was mainly what I wanted Natu for, just be able to come in, take that thing on, and I mean, Natu got 2 kills. It did a heck of a job this game. So yeah, the Vulpix is in. I'm going to go straight into my Amora, as, I mean, the sun's up, can't be having that, and I can always even get Hail Chip, and now I'm going to double into my Surskit, as I was really hoping that he would try to go into his Stuffle on my potential Ancient Power. However, unfortunately, he does just go into his Meowth, and it just puts me in a bad spot. So I'm like, ah, crap. Well, Fake Out into Feint will 100% kill my Surskit. If not, Fake Out just straight up with Burn and Hail. So I'm going to want to get out of dodge, but I don't want my Bonsly coming in immediately, because even though I do resist and I do have the Eviolite, I kind of want to pivot through my Pawniard just to try to take the hit as well as I can, and then potentially just have to go into a Mora at the end and go for a Blizzard. So I'm going to switch out into my Pawniard. If he's able to catch me on that, well, good on him. Otherwise, I will be able to go straight into my Bonsly, as he does go for the Fake Out. That does a good chunk, and now he might just switch into his Stuffle, predicting the Sucker Punch for my Pawniard, which is a very fair play, and that's exactly what he does. So I'm going to go into my Croagunk instead, as I was kind of predicting the Stuffle to want to come in, but also if Meowth happened to have HP fighting, it was just going to try to go for it right there, then I would be able to resist that as well. So, I mean, Croagunk came in, Meowth would have taken a Life Orb hit, and it would have taken Hail, which would have put it in range of Vacuum Wave as well. So getting Croagunk in there was just kind of a cover-all play, and at this point I can just go straight for my Phytinium Z. It's gonna knock out something. There's no way he goes hard Bellsprout in this situation, so I just kind of want to claim my kill at this point. I want to put him at a lower amount of sacks to potentially my Amora, as he does sack off his Meowth. So good play. I mean, he gets the... like, I get the least bang for my buck with my all-out pummeling right there, as Meowth will go down, and my Croagunk is sitting out. If he goes into Stuffle, well, that's just not a good play, as I will be able to kill that thing, and he does go into Vulpix like I was pretty much expecting. So now I was doing the calcs, and I was like, okay, if he's max special attack, which it kind of seemed like he was based on the damage he was doing, I was thinking that, okay, I mean, I need bottom 2 possible rolls in order for him to take me out from this range, or I would need bottom 2 possible rolls in order to live. So I was like, you know what, Vacuum Wave without an Eviolite on the Vulpix should do sufficient damage to where it's able to be in range of two rounds of rocks. Because once Croagunk goes down, Bonsly is going to live an Energy Ball for sure from Vulpix apart from a crit from this range, so I can come in, get up my rocks, go into Amora, and then force the Vulpix into only a single turn, or a single switch in of Sun left, so I can just kind of put him in a checkmate position. So I'm just going to stay in, go straight from the Vacuum Wave, does exactly what I want, and he is going to be able to take me out with a Flamethrower. I mean, it turned out after the game that he only had enough investment to where it was a 50-50 roll slightly in my favor, but I mean, I was playing that turn as if he was max special attack, so ultimately, like, yeah, the crit technically mattered, but overall not so much. Like, it really didn't change how I was going to play the end game. Like, yeah, could have potentially mattered, could have not, doesn't. I mean, it didn't really change how I was planning to play the game. Like, it didn't throw me off of what I was planning to do. But now I am going to take this opportunity with Vulpix in, going to go into my Amora. I'm not going to go into my Bonsly just yet. I want to go into my Amora first, as now I can go into Bonsly and take the Flamethrower, or I can take a Stuffle hit. Really, whatever you wanted to do. Basically, I just kind of wanted to force something else in and force the Vulpix out, as I knew that I could take whatever hit Stuffle wanted to go for because it was not invested in attack, and then I'd be able to get up my rocks. Also, I mean, it just kind of created a 50-50. I wanted to go Surskit as well to try to get up my rocks, but honestly just really couldn't pull the trigger. Bonsly was just kind of a cover-all play at that point. If he stayed in, well, that's a great play on his part, and he might have been able to knock me out with an Energy Ball from that range, but, well, I mean, he would have had to go for 2, I think, but, I mean, he would have risked Vulpix going down, and if Vulpix goes down, then he just loses. So, Bonsly's in. So is the Stuffle. I know I can take a Brick Break pretty easily, actually, all things considered, considering that's a stab hit from Stuffle, and I am going to get up my Stealth Rocks to limit Vulpix to a single switch-in, and at this point, I'm pretty sure I have the game on lock, because with Rocks up, with Vulpix only having 2 switch-ins left, I'm going to go straight into my Amora, and I'm going to fire off a Blizzard, as I have a Sack and Surskit. I still have Sucker Punch on my Pawniard to be able to win the game. So Amora's going to come in, Blizzard, knock out the Stuffle. He has to go into Vulpix. If he goes into Bellsprout, well, then I just win the game, no questions asked, 3-0. But he does make the smart play goes into his Vulpix. Going to pull the switch into Surskit, sack that thing off, and now I will be able to win the game with back-to-back Blizzards from my Amora. The only thing that can potentially beat me at this point is if he is, I think, Max Attack, Life Orb, Sucker Punch, Bellsprout, and he has to get a crit from this range. So yeah, Blizzard able to easily knock out the Vulpix from that range. Bellsprout's going to come in, and I take the Sucker Punch easily, and we'll be able to knock that thing out with Blizzard, and we are able to win the game. So, I mean, it was a very good game. I mean, Sun plus Meowth just kind of inherently is super ridiculously difficult to try to respond to offensively, because, I mean, Sun was so broken in Little Cup that it actually got banned, but considering draft format is so different, you're able to prep around it, and the combination of Sticky Webs plus Anti-Weather in my Amora was enough to take him out. So I think I played a little bit passively in this game. Like, I could have maybe gotten a little bit more differential, but he also played very, very well. GG Blin, that was a heck of a game, and that's a great way to start off my Little Cup draft career, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.